Welcome back, everyone. I kind of alluded that last podcast might have been the last one of the year, but nope. Guess what? Steve called me and said, we got to do at least one more. So we're doing another podcast. Steve, how you doing today?
I'm I'm tired, Jeff, but I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Well, in the before we go live, Steve and I just kind of, shoot the bull between each other, and he said that he's been sleeping in the barn at Creekside trying to get everything done. Now, I might be embellishing a little, Steve, but it sure sounded like you're spending a lot of time in the shop.
Well, I do have a mini split, so it is always 72 degrees and sunny in there. But yeah, no, we've been pretty fortunate, Jeff. There's been a lot of we've been to a lot of events. I think we went to like 4 events in a 6-week period of time, and which has been great. Some places that we haven't been in a while, like Mississippi, and we'll talk a little bit about that. That wasn't last weekend, that was the weekend before. And man, it was really cool seeing some old faces, some folks that were shooting, because it's been probably, man, like 4 or 5 years since I've been to Mississippi to shoot. But
Mm-hmm.
I spent quite sometimes shoot 2 matches a year over there when Rimfire Challenge used to be pretty big back in the heyday. And yeah, there's a young man that I met, Trenton, that's over there. And I was like, I saw him on Facebook. He said, "Yeah, I'm gonna be there." Man, he's one of those guys. He was a boss back, 9, 10 years ago. He's
Yep.
probably 16, 17. The guy was just Cleburne, Cliburn. Anyway, but he was a monster back then. He had an open gun and he wasn't afraid to pull the trigger. So it was
Mm-hmm.
really cool. I saw him, man. It was like a time warp. But it was really cool. He went into the service and got married, and I think he's out of the service now.
Life
Anyway,
happened. Life
yeah,
happened.
yeah, yeah, it
Yeah.
does, it does. But it was really cool, man, seeing somebody from the past. And of course, there's a lot of other people there from the past. But yeah, we've got a lot of custom projects going on, and business has been very, very good. So we're really grateful for that. But doesn't mean it's not a lot of work, Jeff.
Yeah, well,
So
you know
that's
what,
great.
Steve? We appreciate what you're putting out there. In fact, we didn't even talk about this, but let's just do a little segue and talk about the new trigger for the 1022 architecture.
Oh yeah, yeah. So we kind of struggled to come up with a name. Hopefully, we won't confuse people, but we're calling it the 19/22R because somebody told me R for rifle sounds better. So I don't know who I got that from, Jeff. That was you. But yeah, so it's pretty cool. It's pretty much similar concept to the regular 1922 trigger for the Mark IV that's done
Mm-hmm.
extremely, extremely well for us. And so you get some mechanical advantage. The trigger face sits back a good bit compared to the original. And in typical installations, we do see a couple ounce pull. We do offer a service to install and a polishing service, or you can buy the complete BX trigger assembly from us where everything's polished. But yeah, it's a pretty reasonable price for the kind of trigger. Most of these triggers are 2 pounds, and some you get lucky. I put one in the other day. It was a pound and just over 3/4 for
Mm-hmm.
somebody, and man, it's been really good. And then I've got a prototype trigger for Volquartsen that
Mm.
I just got in. And so some of the Volquartsen guys said, "But man, you need to make those for Volquartsen." I'm like, "For the TG 2000." I'm like, "Oh really? You mean one of these?" So anyway, I dropped one in, and we need to think through that just a little bit because the TG 2000, not all of them are the same. They may list them at like a 2 pound pole, but most of those are like a pound and 3/4. And the one that I dropped in, it took almost half of a pound off of it. So now you're talking,
Wow.
you've got more of a precision style trigger than you do
Mm-hmm.
national, what we do. So, we're kind of brainstorming a little bit. We may do some things to bring up the pull weight a little bit, but the biggest difference though with like just not the pull weight reduction, that's only one of the three things from my perspective that makes a good trigger. But the over travel, put an over travel screw in the face of the trigger like the 1922, and we're cutting out the travel of the BX trigger by half. So
Yep.
you take a $65 trigger shoe, you put it in, and your trigger just got, I'd say, 100 times better overnight than you polish the hammer sear. We're not changing any sort of geometry or anything like that to make, we don't want to make something unsafe, but
Right.
to give you an edge. But yeah, that's done extremely well. But yeah, we released that a couple weeks ago. I just wish I had them at the World Rimfire match. Man, they were sitting on my doorstep when I got home from the match. But we
Oh,
did have them there for people to check out. So anyway.
well, let's segue right into that. I was planning on going to the Rimfire match and was up 4 o'clock in the morning on Friday, ready to drive to Alabama, and moved my van into the street so I could move my car into the garage, and literally got out of the van and almost passed out in my front yard.
Oh, jeez,
Yeah.
man.
And
Oh,
came in the house and sat down, and about half an hour got up, and I went, okay, let's give this a shot, and got in the van, and I wasn't feeling 100%, but I was like, let's tough this out. And I got halfway across the Howard Franklin Bridge, which is the big bridge between Tampa and
yeah.
Clearwater.
Hmm.
And I went, this is dumb. I have no idea
Yes.
what's wrong with me, if there's something wrong with me. And that's why I turned around and had to miss the match. But you were there. So how was the
Yeah. So,
match this year?
well, it was great, but certainly, concerned. I heard before, we talked that you weren't coming, but man, that
Right.
vertigo stuff or whatever you had going on, I
Whatever it
don't know.
was, it's I still have to be careful, specifically in the mornings now when I get up. Um, just got to take it a little slower than normal. It sucks being 61. It's just that simple. Um,
Yeah, the telephone poles do go by pretty quick, don't they?
oh man, it's crazy. But yeah, I was looking at some of the history of the matches. And back in 23, that match had 214 people finish the match. And in 24, it was about the same, 213.
Hmm. Hmm.
This year, there were, drum roll, 264 guns in that match.
Yeah,
That's a lot of guns.
they said it was the largest Rimfire World match um to date. I don't know if that's I could not confirm nor deny, but it did seem like a really popular match. There's a lot of the cool part about this year was there were some people that weren't there, but there was a lot of other people that were there that, a lot of folks that met in July up at SASP National, saw a lot of those folks. It's just, it was cool to see some new people shooting Rimfire Challenge,
Mm-hmm.
but it was a well run match, well disciplined match. It was kind of my kind of stages, It's most of them weren't super technical. Besides the one with the pistol, there was one pistol stage that was pretty, it was the equivalent of shooting like an 18 by 24-inch plate. But I think they were on it. Man, if they weren't at 30 yards, I'd be surprised. But it
Mm-hmm.
was I think there were 7 of them, which still triggers something in my brain, Jeff. Because I used to, you shoot five targets, it's like, all right, let's do something else. And
Yeah.
most of those stages, I would say 80% of them had 7 targets, which was cool. But yeah, it was a good match, man. It's always fun, and I think we lucked out this year with the weather, because if it would have been a week later, you would have had those pesky rimfire, you know, uh, issues with running in the cold and all that kind of jazz. So we lucked out. It was a pretty nice weekend. They had a food vendor on site, and they did pretty well, and they're reasonable, and a decent prize table, and yeah, it was a good match. And you know what we
Great.
learned, Jeff?
What
Jeff,
did
do
you
you know what
learn?
we learned? We learned that I'm the fastest guy with a mortgage.
I
Oh, it's
like
so
that.
funny. It's
I
so funny.
like that. Well, you
Yeah,
know
it's
what? I want to
cool.
clear something up. For those that are going to go, wait a minute, it didn't seem like it's that big. Turns out it was 256 guns, which is still a 40 gun, over 40 gun plus from
Yeah,
the previous year.
yeah.
And it's amazing. Yeah, looking here, you've got a lot of the regulars here in the top guns. But yeah, as I scroll down, I'm starting to see some names that I know are coming up or I haven't been able to meet them yet, but names I've heard of, and it's fantastic to see that, to see the people getting out there and having a good time, you know. And you know, credit where credit is due. Jesse Misko won his fourth in Open, but Jesse Grant took the limited title.
Yeah, he certainly did. I couldn't be more proud of Jesse Grant. He his level, his skill and his level of ability to shoot just keeps getting better and better by the minute it seems. And he did win the limited, which, you know, all the big dogs shoot both open and limited. And
Mm-hmm.
man, he had and I love you, Jesse, but he had a couple rough stages. The last 2 to 3 stages were pretty. I would have taken them as good stages, but they were a little bit rough. But I guess that's why it's a 14 stage match and not a 10 stage match because he dropped probably if he didn't drop 6 or 7 seconds off those last couple stages, I would have been surprised. So
Wow.
he's got it in him. It's just really impressive. You know, Kurt and Maria were squatted with him and Lance Brecher Jr. You know, that was a cool
That
squad.
was a
So
squad I was supposed to be on.
yeah, no, that was great. So I say, hey Kurt, what do you think about this? Yeah, it's a G-rated show, so I can't tell you what he said, but he's just like this the speed that these guys shoot at is just
Yeah.
it's unbelievable.
No,
And yeah, it's
they've
really
definitely taken it
remarkable.
to with the low ready guns, they've taken it to an entirely new level.
But
Um,
to back up for just a moment, but yeah, my hat goes off to Jesse Misko. What's his fourth in a row? Congratulations,
mhm,
Jesse. That's a huge accomplishment. You know,
absolutely.
there's some ballers out there, and man, there's some that have the speed. It's just getting it connected just a little bit more. And
Yeah,
boy,
no, it was close. I mean,
but
Jesse Misko shot a 95.05, and right on his heels was Jesse Grant with a 95.55. So it was a half a
yep.
second over 14 stages. That's pretty impressive.
What's that? A makeup or two makeup shots?
Yeah,
You know what I mean? But
exactly.
you know what else is really cool though
What's that?
is where I don't have the scores in front of me, but I think Jenna Larson came in fourth place overall in Open. She's a monster. She's
She
a
was
monster, dude.
fourth overall, and well, she was fifth overall, fourth overall in Open.
Hmm.
Um, and to give it in perspective, like we said, Jesse Misko shot a 95.05. Jana shot a 104.92, so she's right there as well.
That's yeah, that's crazy.
Yep.
That's crazy good. And she's I don't know, she's probably won the ladies or whatever she's done for the last probably 4 years. She's but she's somebody else, you know, like Jesse Grant that just keeps getting faster and faster and
Yep.
faster. You know what I mean? So
Absolutely. It's always great seeing them all. I went over to shoot a match in Volusia on the weekend. Uh, Last weekend it was. Yes, last weekend. So it was Sunday, and they also had the monster match going on there, and that
yep,
is the 50 plus rounds of stage, USPSA style.
yep.
And so I saw Jesse Grant there, and I said, "Hey Jesse, what are you shooting today?" And he says, "Oh, I'm shooting open." Like, wow, I never seen you shoot open and steel. He goes, no, I'm shooting the monster match. I need a little change. So he was shooting the monster match that day with his open gun. So he's starting to. I mean, I know he shot carry optics before, but he's starting to branch out into some of the other divisions as well.
I warned him. I said, "You start getting in on that crack corn on those open guns, man. That's all you want to do." That's
Oh
why.
man.
That's why I haven't shot open in a couple of years because you get hooked on that speed, man. It's like I don't want
And
to do
you
anything else. I'm just gonna shoot open. Yeah,
and
it's
you
a
have
lot of
got
fun.
I have seen them. You have got some I've held them.
Yeah,
Beautiful save queens there, Steve.
yeah, no.
I'm just saying, they ought to get shot once in a while.
Yeah, and I picked up a limited optics gun the other, I don't know, a week or so ago, an MPA.
Mm-hmm.
Man, it's never been fired. I'm like, I need to get rid of this thing because if I shoot it, it's gonna be over. But anyway,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, anything with a dot's pretty cool.
Absolutely. All right. Well, that's good for Rimfire Worlds. Now, you were in another match not too long ago. In fact, it was the holiday weekend, just last weekend. It was the Mississippi State match, correct?
Yeah, we went right from I think World Rimfire. I don't know. We may have been off a week, and then we went to the Mississippi match. That was pretty cool, man. It started on Halloween on what day was that? Friday.
Friday.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Shot, the interesting part was met a lot of people, of course, some old familiar faces and some young familiar faces, but there's people from all over. You had people from Texas, Missouri there. I mean, Alabama, Georgia. So they brought in quite a few folks. I think there's 265 guns somewhere in there. But
So that was the one. Yes, I had read it wrong. So
yeah.
it looks like there was a couple maybe did not finishes, but yeah, 264 is the ones that are listed here
Mm, okay.
on practice score.
Yeah, and the cool part also about that match is you had quite a few USPSA guys. I'm not sure if there was any ladies, but there were some guys there I'd never seen before. They're USPSA shooters that were, helping out the local club and shot the match. And so, we had our booth set up, and they're like, "Oh, what is this?" So I introduced them to a whole different world, and we partnered with Ruger, of course, and we gave away two custom guns. One
Oh,
a
the
Mark IV, and
Halloween
then
gun.
no, that's a Volquartsen one. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, we did two custom Rugers with a 1022, put a tandem cross barrel in it, and then put it in a Crazy Ivan chassis, and then we did a Mark IV with kind of like a Halloween theme. So that went pretty well, and then kind of the talk of the town was the partnership we have with Volquartsen, and we got a Mamba X, and did a custom anodized job with our customized trigger, 1922 trigger with grips, magwells, and all that stuff. Man, it turned out pretty big. Yeah, it was a good showing, good prize table, lots of fun, lots of just a lot of shenanigans, man. So
How was the weather? How was the weather?
so I shot on Friday, which was a good decision because it was a little bit warmer. And then Saturday morning, man, it was cold. It was
Yeah.
well, you know what? I take that back. Friday morning, first thing in the morning, it was like 40 degrees when we started shooting. And then in an hour, it ended up being like 55. If I had to
Oh,
do it
that's bringing back
again,
memories of Georgia.
no, yeah, no, really. So on Friday, I think it got up to like 70 something degrees. What I should
Mhm.
have done is not shot the Friday morning session. I should have shot the Sunday morning session because it was daylight savings time. So it would have
Ah,
been like it was an hour later. So it was weather overall was knock on wood was pretty darn good for us. But
awesome.
yeah, it was a good match, and Taryn, aka T-Rex, thank her for putting that match on, because I think that match has kind of changed hands over the last 8 9 years. I think three or
Hmm.
four times. So it's good to see somebody. I think this is our second year maybe of doing it. I think Nick was doing it 3 4 years ago. And that's probably the last time I shot. It was probably 4 or 5 years ago. So no, that was pretty cool, and it wasn't as far of a drive as what I remember. But yeah, we had fun. But man, so they had a Halloween costume contest. Did you
Right.
see that?
I did not.
Oh, so my wife, she came
Oh,
out
wait a
from
minute.
her
Yes, I
house.
did see this. I did. Now that you mentioned what Teresa, yes, I do remember
Oh,
seeing this.
yeah. Then Brendan's dad, Gary Bullen, was out there with the beard with all that. But my wife came out with a Ruger jersey and had the ruby glasses, and I told her she had to stop because she was mimicking my mannerisms. Dude, after like 4 minutes, my sides were hurting. I almost started tossing my cookies. I was laughing so hard.
Oh, that
I'm
is
like,
awesome.
"You thought about this?" She's like, "Oh yeah, I have." So anyway, Brendan came out. I don't know why he had like a Steve Foster Ruger jersey on, and he was on a unicorn. I'm like, "Where's the unicorn?" Anyway, and Cameron was there, and Sally, and anyway, Taryn dressed up too. So of course, my crew won the Steve Foster holiday costume contest.
As
So
a
we got
team,
bragging
it was a
rights.
team effort.
Yeah, I guess somehow I got suckered into it. So I walked away with the big Flavor Flav style award. So that's cool. That's hanging up in
That's
my shop
awesome.
now. Yeah, yeah. So it was it's been a good couple of weeks of shooting some great matches, man. It's been great.
Well, that Mississippi match was on the books as being the last major of the year. But that's
And
changed.
and you got suckered to do what, Jeff?
Exactly. So Greg Kierce, our good friend over at Volusia, is going to have surgery and is not going to be able to run the match. And so I
Ah,
said, "Hey, do you mind if I run it?" He's like, "No, go for it." So the WAC is going to be hosting the 2025 Florida State Steel Challenge Championships. Um, because of the timing, um, we had to put it on one of our steel dates, and it was either going to be this Saturday, which would have been too soon. So we're doing it in December, the week before Christmas, December 19th through the 21st. And, it was one of those where I was like, hey, I want to have the match. I want to provide it. We'll just see who shows up and
sure,
get signed up. Well,
sure.
I opened it up, I think it was 2 weeks ago, and we now have 226 guns in that match.
Dang. Especially with the timing of it too, because
Exactly.
I know that there's a lot of people that won't be able to make it because of that, but that's really good, man.
No,
That's really good.
I'm hoping at this point there isn't even hoping. It's just I'm pleased with the outcome, and now it's time to put a good match.
Yeah.
So we're looking forward to hosting that. And then before that match even starts, the first match of the 2026 season, which is going to be at the WAC as the 9th annual West Florida Steel Challenge Championships. That's going to be the third weekend in February, and that match is scheduled to open December 6th. And I am looking forward to putting on that one. And we're in the works to come up with a new logo for the match, Steve. So keep an eye out for that.
Sounds good. I'll hang out after the podcast so we can talk about pre-registration codes.
It's a deal. It's a deal. Well, considering you are the title sponsor, yeah, I think it should be that way. So for those that actually want to get the full name of it's the WAC 2026 9th annual West Florida Steel Challenge Championships presented by Creekside Customs. Now, I wanted to add owned by Steve and Teresa Foster, but it was getting too long, and so we had to cut that part out.
Did you run out of characters on practice score? Did they cut you
There's a
off?
limit. There's a limit to the match name.
Yeah, put that on a shirt.
That's all you're going to have on the back is just this big name of the match.
That's
Or in
and a
really
low
small, how about this?
and
In really small letters, it just starts on the left arm and goes across the back and ends on the right arm.
Where's the logo? Oh, it's in that
That
1 inch by 1 inch square
Yeah,
down
yeah, we
there.
didn't have room for the logo. We needed to get
That's
the full
right.
name on it. So, oh, that's
That's
great.
awesome. That's really
Yeah,
cool.
so
Now,
we always look forward to that match. We set a record last year for the match with 301 guns, which oddly enough, the current limit for the match is 300. So, getting 301 last year was still I know how it happened because we have a little extra we do for the people that come help build. We let them shoot.
yeah,
But I just, we've got those two majors coming up. I'm still running, you know, 3 other matches a month in Steel Challenge. We've got our 2-gun steel match. There's a lot of shooting you can do with the whack. And then now, you know, down in this area, we run the first and third Wednesdays. Ruskin runs the second and fourth Wednesdays. Ruskin also runs the second Sunday. Manatee's now got the fourth Sunday. Within a hour and a half radius, you can shoot like 9 times a month down here.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah. And of course, if you
That's
live
really
over
cool.
Volusia, they're like, yeah, we got one range and we do 11 matches a month. That's the other side of the state. So, and I still go to that match. I still like it. It's fun going over there.
How far of a drive is that for you?
Well, if my friend
2?
drives, which usually happens, we have a deal. He drives and then I buy lunch. We get there in about 2 hours. Coming home, it's more like 2.5 with traffic. So it works out. It's not so bad. The tough part is that morning going over, you know, because I got to be at his house by 6.
Yeah.
We get over there. Both of us like to get there early just so we can chill. I hate being there last minute. And most match directors, myself included, appreciate when people show up early, and getting them checked in and know they're there. It's tough when someone shows up 5 minutes after the match time and it's like, can I get in the match? I'm like, sure, but I'm going to need a good excuse.
Yep.
So, well, cool. Well, man, I think we hit everything. Was there anything else that we were going to talk about?
Not necessarily Steel Challenge related, but let me just share this for just a moment about the Creekside stuff.
Yeah.
The chassis sales have been out of control, exceeding our expectations. So we ran out a little bit quicker. So we're actually out of original and comp chassis. We should have comp chassis in stock in the next, let's say, 3 weeks. Could be 2, could be 3. And then the originals are going to be right at the end of the year. So if you're interested in one of those, just reach out to us, and I've got a list. And then we've had a lot of people that are extremely interested. They saw the Knights Templar build out there, which was pretty cool. So thank you, Tim, for that opportunity. That ended up being an amazing, amazing, cool build. He said, "Hey, do whatever you want." I'm like, "You sure?" Just a little bit of direction. So that usually always works out just a little bit cooler. You know what I mean? So, hey, you need to do this, you need to do that. But, you know, we like to have a little bit of guidance. But he's running I've got a couple of them out there. It's a prototype, carbon fiber, butt stock that goes on an AR. So those are in production now. We're going to make the cheek rest is going to be made out of carbon fiber. The rest of the parts are going to be made out of aluminum, and the butt pad, the same type of material. If you buy a Weatherby shotgun, that's the same type of material. So they're going to be out. Man, I'm targeting to get them by Christmas, but it's going to be pretty darn close. So if you're interested in one of those, we'll get that on the website at some point in time. But send us a note. We'll put you on the waiting list for that as well. But yeah, the Creekside stuff's been going extremely well. So thank you to everybody that's definitely been a supporter of ours. You know, Jeff, it just helps out people wearing the swag and mention us on Facebook and stuff like that, man. It's just really humbling to see the support from people. So we appreciate it. And
you saw what Teresa sent me, didn't you?
No. I did.
Yes. The official Steve Foster fan club shirt. I have one now. So, and you know, Daniel Harris has got one, so we might have to time it so we go to a match and we both shoot in it.
I'm like, where did these things come from? Yeah, my wife, she's amazing. Don't tell her I said that. But
no, she knows it.
She already knows.
She is. Yep, exactly.
I'm like, yeah, when we were up at SASP Nationals, there's like 40 or 50 people that came out with those shirts on. I'm like, what the heck?
That's hilarious.
It was a touching moment. But yeah, no, it's been cool. But you know, I guess my other message with all that is that if you're a sponsored shooter, you know, not necessarily anything to do with, you know, myself, but just, running the steel target paint shooting team for what, 9 years or something like that. It means a lot to companies to reshare, repost,
Yep.
engage in some of those online forums. And as business owners, we talk collectively over the course of time. I know Billy Strickland and Brian with Tandem Cross and Scott and with Wilcourts, and it's how do you get the bang for the buck? And these companies are definitely interested in making an investment in people. It's just the return that's the opportunity. And if you don't know what to do as a sponsored shooter, I've got a couple of articles that I've written. I'll probably write another one based on some of my recent reflection. But it may not take you a ton of time, but it means a lot to the people that have dumped, you know, a lot of money into the sport to help support it. And I think it's
Go
our
back and
job
listen to our
as
podcast we did a long
yeah,
time ago. We talked to Max Michelle about that, and we've talked
yeah.
about it to other people. And you know, um, don't come at it as what are they going to do for me? Come at it as what can you do for them?
And if you this may sound really silly and trivial, but if you win something at the prize table, you're getting a company's product, send them an email,
Yep.
especially even if you don't know, reach out to me, send me a note. And I'm not going to say that I have everybody's contact, but I could help you or somebody else that I know that within our group can help get you in contact to make sure that you show appreciation to those folks, because that goes such a long way. Because
Mm-hmm.
you're talking, yeah, I won't even share how much money as a small business we've donated to the sport in the past 12 months, but it's as a percentage of our company, it's pretty significant. And
Yep.
we do that because I love the sport, I love the people in it, and I love promoting it and getting back to. Okay, I'll tell you a real quick story. We were at the Mississippi Steel match, and I had three guys that were all USPSA shooters, and they're like, "What in the heck?" And I'm like, "Well, what are you talking about?" He says, "These are guns that you're donating to the match all tricked out." I'm like, "Yeah." He says, "We haven't seen that stuff in USPSA." I said, "But you used to, right?" He said, "Yeah." And I said, "Well, we need to give back to the sport." They were sharing a lot of accolades and thanking me, but it's, my relationships with Ruger and Will Courts and then blah blah blah. And I'm helping to share with them, the promotion side of what
Mm-hmm.
of what we're trying to do. But yeah, if we want those types of, better prize tables and this and that, make sure that you're thanking these companies that you're pulling off a $500 certificate or a $20
Well, I'm looking right
whatever it
here. I
may
just
be.
happened to flip over to Facebook, and here's a post from Creekside Custom Lasering with Macy showing off the gun you made for her.
Oh yeah.
It's
Yep.
it's awesome, and you know who knows what's that going to turn into? Might not be nothing more than people just going, "Wow, he does some cool stuff." But now it might be, "Oh, wait a minute, look what he did on that. He did a Spider-Man theme on this, and he's got the spider web on his grips, and he's got her name lasered there." And these are all things that people see and they go, "Well, maybe I want to have that done." And so it's important to share that stuff out there.
And the other cool part of the intent of posting that with Macy, her dad Eric reached out to me, and we've talked quite a bit in the last, month. Now he's starting, his daughter, he reached out to me from social media, and he's like, "How do we get XYZ going on?" Well, I know the person at SASP to start a team, and so he started a non for profit, and he's starting an SASP team out there, and he's now shooting steel challenge matches with his kids, and so on and so forth. She went from like a D class shooter, and she shot that gun yesterday, and she shot B class and rimfire pistol open. Not
Mm-hmm.
bad for a 13-year-old young lady, you know what I mean? And I think it's just cool when, whether it's a young kid or an old kid that they get a custom whatever, it's something that they're proud of. And it just starts a conversation too with other people. It's one thing about shooting, but it's one thing about cool guns. And hey, Spider-Man not may be everybody's jam, but you know what, Macy freaking loves it. And they sent me a video of her opening it and stuff
The
like that.
unboxing video.
Sheesh,
Okay, cool.
dude, it's so yeah, it's makes all those late nights worth it for sure, man. So
Awesome. All right, Steve. Well, that's a good podcast. It's almost done with lunchtime here, so let's wrap it up. Thank you to everybody for listening. It's November 10th, and I there's a chance that maybe the week before New Year's I can steal Steve away for 20, 30 minutes and we can do a recap of the state match.
Love
But
to.
if not, we'll try to get that done the first of the year. But I want to say thank you to everybody who's been listening to us. Um, for those of you that don't know, this is a passion project of Steve and mine for going on 5 years, 6 years. Um, we're up over we're into the triple digits in episodes, and we just want to say thank you. We don't make any money from this. In fact, it costs us money to pay for the storage. Thank you, Larry. But we do this as just our little part of giving back to the sport. And if we hear something or see something that you did good, we'll mention your name. We throw them out like water because they're our friends and we love doing it. So I just want to say thank you to everybody who listens.
Couldn't agree with you anymore, Jeff.
All
Well,
right,
thanks
Steve. Well,
everybody.
listen,
Have a good
I,
weekend.
yep, I got to end it the same way we always end it. If you want 10% off your order at rangestore.net, use our coupon code ST Podcast 10% off your order. Thanks again, Steve. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. See you, Jeff.
Bye.